Campaign, battle, armed with weapons. These are the various words we hear in the opening prayer of the Mass for Ash Wednesday. But given the state of things in the news this past week, it can maybe seem a little inappropriate for the times we live in. But the campaign and battle and the arms we are being encouraged to take up are of a spiritual nature. And while earthly armaments inflict carnage, terror, destruction, and death, these spiritual weapons bring freedom, growth, and new life. Today is always a day of fast and abstinence, and Pope Francis a few days ago asked that all Catholics would offer up the prayer and penance of this day for the cause of peace, particularly in Ukraine. While bombs are falling from the sky, prayers and Lenten sacrifices are rising up before the throne of God and drawing down, we firmly believe, many graces upon all sides. The grace of protection for those who are under attack, and the grace of repentance for those who are the aggressors. Just yesterday, I spoke on the phone to a Ukrainian priest friend of mine, Father Kazimir. He's a priest in the western part of Ukraine, not far from the Polish border. The area where he lives and ministers has had a few missile strikes on military targets, but they have not yet seen the level of destruction and terror that places further east in Ukraine have undergone. The church in his part of Ukraine is right now heavily involved in helping the hundreds of thousands of refugees who are fleeing westward to get out of harm's way. As we spoke about the war and invasion by Russia, he told me that they will fight without ceasing so that they will never again fall under Russian rule. For he, being in his early 50s, still remembers the time when Ukraine was completely under the thumb of the USSR. And he was passionate that his people would never again have to live under a tyranny like that, since for much of the 20th century the people of Ukraine suffered so much under communism. After the phone call, it struck me that he was revealing the sentiments of the vast majority of the people of Ukraine. They would never submit to Russian rule again. No matter what it cost them, they would fight. And it struck me also that if the whole church in all its members could bottle just a few drops of that determination and then use that to fight the spiritual battle against the greatest tyrannical kingdom and evil aggressor of all, the kingdom of darkness and sin, the kingdom of Satan, then this world of ours would be transformed very quickly into something much more in line with what God had in mind when he sent his Son Jesus to redeem us. Lent is for us a spiritual battle campaign, and the weapons we have at our disposal are prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. Prayer, which fosters our union with God. Fasting, which breaks any disordered attachments we have to the things in this wonderful world. And almsgiving, which causes us to reach out in love and generosity to others at our own expense. Almsgiving, which is love of neighbour in action. As the people of Ukraine do battle to retain and regain the freedom of their nation, they unite under the banner of the national flag. It becomes, in a sense, a mark and symbol of their resistance to being enslaved and their desire to remain free. Today, we will allow ourselves to be marked with ashes, usually placed on us in the form of a cross. This is our banner, and all who see it when we walk out of the church today will notice it, and they will know, here is a man, here is a woman who is taking up the fight for freedom of soul, someone who is determined to root out any foothold or stronghold of the enemy of their soul through making a Lenten campaign of greater prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. But a warning: if I allow myself to be marked with the ashes, but have no intention of embarking on this Lenten campaign, then I am dishonoring that mark of the cross, and I am just going through the motions, using empty ritualism. That cross and those ashes mean something. But if I do not want to take up the arms of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving in some way, then I've reduced them to something meaningless. The people of Ukraine proudly wave their flag, but they know that merely waving a flag will not keep them free. They have to take up the arms they need to fight the good fight. The ashes mean we are ready to spiritually fight, but the ashes are not the actual fight itself. That takes place over the next 40 days as we commit ourselves or recommit ourselves to pray more, to fast and make renunciations, penance, and to almsgiving. May you have a blessed Lent. Please pray for the people of Ukraine. Please pray for my friend Father Casimir and for all those he ministers to. Pray, fast, give alms, in whatever way is possible for you, and you will be mounting a serious Lenten campaign where the enemy of us all is driven further out, further back, and we will experience on Easter Sunday a greater interior freedom and a greater union with God. And love will blossom forth in these next 40 days in our souls, so that we will be that bit more like Christ. Have a blessed Lent.